Hey guys, it's Ileane from basicblogtips.com. I want to tell you about the updates to the SEOPressor plugin. And I'm not a huge fan of SEO, but this plugin has made SEO so easy for me, and I've been able to achieve top ranking for some of the terms that were highly competitive that people thought I never would be able to make headway with. Like, if it wasn't for SEOPressor, I would not be doing so well. That's why it's important for me to take you through the modules in the new version of SEOPressor. This may be above your head, but for now, just follow along and pick up what you can as we go along. And for anybody who's new to blogging, just head over to basicblogtips.com/blogging tips, and that will get you started on your journey for blogging. But for those of us who are ready to take it to the next level, SEOPressor is the way to go. So let's get into this plugin and we'll go through all the modules. Now, my mama used to say, the proof is in the pudding. So before we even get into the modules of SEOPressor, I just want you to see the type of traffic that I'm getting over at Basic Blog Tips. Now, of course, there's people that are getting more traffic than me, but I'm sure there's a few of you that are getting a lot less traffic. Here we go with 45,000 people visiting the site in the past month and 52,000 visits. 84% were new, and the other almost 16% were returning visitors. Now, let's really go into traffic sources, because the thing is, you need to know that this traffic is organic. And you can see here clearly that the organic traffic just outdoes the rest of the traffic far and away. Let's put it on a graph mode. Do you see that there? There's 68% of the traffic that is coming from Google organic traffic. Okay, sorry for that little thing, but like I said, the proof is in the pudding, and I wouldn't be such a huge supporter of SEOPressor if I wasn't seeing these numbers. I'm not really doing a sales pitch for this plugin. I just want to show you the pricing, because if you're not interested in paying for this plugin, there's no need for you to even watch this video even further, unless you're going to be guest posting on my blog, which is the real reason why I am updating my SEOPressor tutorial, because my guest authors need to know what these settings are. On the other hand, if you are ready to buy the plugin, just go to basicblogtips.com/uses, that's USES, /SEOPressor. All right, no more distractions. Let's go right into the modules. Okay, once you install this plugin, it's going to reside over on your left-hand side menu, just like any other premium plugin, and you can see all the different modules. So we're in the first one, which is just the settings. Here is where you can enable and disable some of the features. Now, here I have the Rich Snippets. And anybody who doesn't know about Rich Snippets, real briefly, that is the text that appears in Google search. And this Rich Snippets also is where you'll see the person's picture. if they have their Google authorship set up correctly. You'll see their picture, especially if you're connected with them on Google Plus, next to their listing in Google search. This tends to give you a higher click-through rate. Okay, now Dublin Core, because the Twitter is self-explanatory. Dublin Core is quite simply, it's a metadata project. That's all you need to know. Don't worry about it. It's nice to have it. It's not going to hurt you to have it. So that's why I have it turned on. Post titles. Here's where you let SEOPressor automatically add the keyword in your post titles. Now, for my guest authors, you're going to put your keyword in your post title. So that's why SEOPressor doesn't automatically have to do that, because you have to do that. The slug, I have that turned off, but for anyone else who's using it, you can turn that on if you want. I always create the slug myself manually. Guests do not have to worry about the slug. The keywords. Now, I've been told that just not to overdo it with these decorations, they call them, on the keywords. So if you're going to make something bold, your keywords bold, that's fine. But then to go ahead and then make the second occurrence of that word italic and then underline, that may be overkill. And so right now I have those all turned off. But it's okay, because on each post I can manually insert the italics or the underlines if I want. But this bold, I wanted to pick one out of the three, and so I picked bold. Images. Yes, SEOPressor will automatically add the alt text to the image, which will be the same as your keyword. But I actually expect most authors to go ahead and add the alt text there, even though this is turned on. I will, for those of you who are submitting images, I'll take care of it. For those of you who are embedding images because you're hosting them yourself somewhere like Flickr or on your own blog, please go ahead and add the alt tags. And for those of you who aren't sending any images at all and I'm supplying the image, of course, you do not need to worry about that. Now, my blog is do follow. So for this link here to automatically add do follow or no follow, I will allow SEOPressor to add no follow to the image links, but most of the images are not linked. But in the cases where they are linked, they will be no follow. And for the external links, I will allow do follow. If I decide to no follow a link, I will do that myself manually. I don't want SEOPressor doing that for me. I don't want SEOPressor to add tags, and it just makes your sitemap huge anyway. Now, this is the Bing API setting. You have to go into Bing and get your API key. They show you how to do this. Now, for someone else who's using this little walkthrough here is very good. You have to have an account already. Hopefully you're using Bing anyway. So just go in here and scroll through these simple instructions. It's free. You sign up for the free version of this Bing, and then they give you an API key after you sign off on all these things. Go into my account, then you get the key. You have to set it up. Just copy and paste that API key and just add it right here on this LSI page. Next, while we're still on this advanced tab, let's just take a look at the miscellaneous area and scroll down to the bottom. You can ignore most of this other stuff here. This is where you would add a minimum score before publishing. So if you wanted to make sure that every time you publish, just as a reminder to yourself, or if you have other people that are publishing posts, then you would put in the score here. Let's say it was 75%. I would recommend at least 80, but better than 80 is even better. Now, use caution when you add something here, because if you have any posts that are published that fall below that score, it's going to return those published posts to draft. So that's exactly why I have this blank, because I know some of my posts I didn't use SEOPressor for. So you proceed with caution here, okay? And if you're not sure, then just leave it blank. And then now these things should all be checked off, and there should also be a list of the sites that are authorized to use SEOPressor. Now I'm good to go with the sites that I have there. Role settings. Now, this confused me at first, and after a couple minutes I actually figured this out. I turned this on to enable role settings, and all it does is it controls who on your website can see all of the different settings in this plugin. So what I have set up is, of course, as the admin, I can see everything. My contributors, my guest authors, they can just see the score box, and we'll show you the score box in a second, and the settings without access to the minimum score. And like I said, I'll show you that in a minute. I actually don't have anybody signed up as an author or an editor on my blog, but you could go in here. This is how you would change it. When you click the box, it pulls down all the different options. Okay, so you could give them full access. If somebody's an author, you probably want to give them the full access. Okay, or you could just, this is what I'll do just to show you how it works. I'll just give them access to the score box. Then if I wanted to come back and give them something else, access to the full list of posts. Okay, when an editor, I would want them to see the full list of posts. Now, the other areas we have here are make money and support, and those are pretty self-explanatory. The make money is just for the affiliate sign up. If you already have a ClickBank affiliate, you just put your ClickBank ID in there. And then this is the support area, which is actually pretty clean right now. Now here we are over in the post editor, and this is how you would use the plugin as you're typing your post. First, you will enter your keyword over here in the score box over on the right hand side. And click to refresh the analysis. So here, this is where SEOPressor gives you warnings for what needs to be done in terms of your content. Actually, these are the suggestions. We didn't get into the content module yet. Well, let's just go into the suggestions. And it tells you that you need to have something underlined and you have something in italic. As I mentioned earlier, guest posters do not need to worry about this italic or underline. But, and this is very important because this is the #1 place where I see that guest posters are not doing this, and it's so super simple. You have to have your keyword in your H1 tag. That's the title. So you don't have to do anything there. You've already included your keyword in the title. The H2 tag. It's so super simple. I don't know why people don't do it. Let me just show you how it's done. See, I typed the sentence. I use Animoto because my keyword here is Animoto. You come up here and you change that to a heading. refresh the score. Bam, I have a H2 tag. As I go down the post, and I'm going to post some text in here. That was just some fictitious text that had nothing to do with the article. But here, this is where you're going to make a H3 tag. Super simple. And I know you're probably saying, well, I know how to do these tags. You may, but I will say that 80% of the guest bloggers on my blog, and I have some very experienced guest posters, do not use the H3 tag. Now, maybe because they thought it was repetitive, but that's okay, because now you can add an additional keyword. So let's do movie maker, because remember, it needs to be something that's in the title. So take note, I added movie maker as a second keyword, and I changed that H3 tag to say try the movie maker. And voila, I have my H3 tag. So please, guest authors, I don't want to see any more of this missing H3 tag. All you need to do is enter your keywords. In this case, I have 2. You're allowed up to 3. And make sure that the bold is checked off, which it will be because it's going to be in your title. The H1 tag, which it will be because it's going to be in your title. The H2 tag, you have to make this. And the H3 tag, once again, you have to make that. Now, you're going to see some other warnings down here at the bottom. Let's skip this one about LSI keywords. Add more images with alt text. Let's get an image in there. Now you have your image. All you have to do is click on the edit image option, and the alternative text was already established for this image, which was Animoto. But let's say we want to get the second keyword in here too. So we'll add online movie maker. See, the point of this is to send a signal to Google and the other search engines as well. This is what my article is about. And so it's about Animoto and online movie maker. Okay. Now, in addition to the keyword decoration, it also will check your URL to see the URLs in your post. Now it's telling you that there's no link pointing to an internal page. There's no link pointing to an external page. So just add those 2 links and you'll be good to go. Let's go to the Content tab. Now, the LSI. Over on the SEOPressor website, they have a section for tutorials. And this is where you actually get a description of what LSI keywords are. They're essentially keywords related to the keyword that you're searching for. Google does this by using a system known as Latent Semantic Indexing. In a nutshell, it's based on user search patterns and behavior. How one keyword search is usually linked to another keyword search. Google is something else with their algorithms, aren't they? And also Bing has a similar algorithm. So we come over into the content module and you see the LSI. And what you do is you just place your cursor where you want this keyword phrase inserted in your document. So as soon as you click it, see how it fills it in over here in your text. Now you may have to go in here and uncapitalize certain words or something like that. Now remember, you have more than one keyword entered. So in order to get to the LSI for Movie Maker, we have to go to the pull down menu and open that up. And let's just insert this one here. And now let's update our score again. And notice the score has gotten better. And just so you know, we're starting to get close to the keyword density that we want. You don't want to add each and every one of these LSI keywords because then you'll get an over-optimization warning. So let's move on to the next module. Scroll down and you'll see the settings for each post. Now, these are going to be the same options that we had in the settings for the plugin, but you can also control them on an individual basis. Now, I have all these turned off, which we talked about before, and now we can turn them on. So in this case, I'm going to turn these on for the meta tags, and I'm going to say use the SEO keywords as meta tags. See, there's a couple of different options there. You just pick the one you want. Now, the other important one here is the meta title. You can fill in that meta title as well as a meta description. I'm not going to fill these in. And here's the overrides if you wanted to override any of these options so that it doesn't affect your score. Now we're getting into the super techie part of this SEO, the whole principles behind SEO. And this is the part that in my mind is very similar to what you will find in the Yoast plugin. This is the Rich Snippets. And remember, I told you Rich Snippets is the little section that you'll see on Google when you're searching for something. Let me give you an example. Here's an example. This is a very competitive term, and the term is CommentLuv. Take a look at the fourth listing here, and you'll see there is the term CommentLuv. Here's the link back to my blog. Here's my image. That's because I've got my Google authorship. And this is the actual snippet with a link to my Google profile. It shows you how many people have me in circles on Google Plus. It gives a link to more from me, and it also gives a little bit of the text. And you'll see Anna Hoffman. She's also on the first page for this term. I don't know if she's using SEOPressor or not, but in any event, that is an example of the Rich Snippet. The theory is that people who are searching for this term, they'll probably just bypass a couple of these listings here because they see a familiar face and they'll say, oh yeah, I know Ileane. Let me click on her blog and see what she has to say. So now back over to SEOPressor and the Rich Snippet module that is for this specific post. And notice that there's different kinds of listings that you can have in Google with these rich snippets: reviews, events, people, products, and recipes. And the format for each one of these is different. So if you're doing a review, you get to choose a rating. If you're doing an event, you would make sure you put the event name, the date, and the location, the URL. People, you have the URL, the homepage of the person. If you're, writing an article about someone. If you have your own products and you want to do a product, or even if you're doing it as an affiliate product, you could list all of that stuff here. And for recipes, there's also a different set of rich snippets data, including the nutrition and all that stuff. Now, for social SEO, here we have the Facebook. I would probably turn this off, as I mentioned to you before, because it's giving an error with the double posting of the name. but they'll probably work that out soon, so just keep an eye on it. Twitter, same thing. If you want to go ahead and change the title here, you may find that a post has a date in it or something like that, or there's something that you just want to make a little bit more enticing about the title when somebody tweets it on Twitter. So if you fill in a different title here, that's what will go out with the tweet when someone just uses their Twitter button. Dublin Core, remember I mentioned before, this is a metadata project. You just go ahead, and I probably would use the same title for my Rich Snippets that I use for my Dublin Core, but that's what you would do here. Of course, guest authors don't have to worry about any of these things. I will take care of them. Now here's add tags. Yahoo will probably pull tags. And you can turn on the ones that you want to add. And I'll just say video, slideshow, and software platforms. And then add tags to the WordPress tags on your blog. Now there's one last area that I want to show you in SEOPressor, and that is to check on the scores of all your former blog posts, and this is where you would do that. Over on the settings area of the plugin, over on the left hand side where you have posts and pages, this is where you will check the scores. Just click this little button to get the top scores. And here you'll see these are posts that, since the update, I decided to go back in there and tweak them and get a higher score, adding some of those LSI keywords. Some of these other ones already had a pretty good score, so I just left them alone. But you may just want to sort by the lowest ones, because I'm sure you have some, especially older posts, like in my case before I even started using SEOPressor. If it's worth it, if you're still getting traffic for those posts, go ahead and tweak them. You can change how many posts you see per page. I think if I do 300, that'll give me a good idea. Let's scroll all the way down to some that were using the SEOPressor plugin. Here we go. Now the Scoop It is a very popular post on the blog, but there's no reason why I wouldn't want to go in here and get a higher score, because that'll keep it up on the top of Google. And you also can add additional content. Maybe they've had an updated feature added. Also, this was a review of a product, so I would go in there and add some of those review features under the Rich Snippet area. Change that to a review, and of course I would give that a 5-star rating. Author, you put your name in, a short summary of the review, and the description. Now I think it makes sense to match this description with the same one that you're going to use for your social settings. And if you were, depending upon your theme or any other SEO things that you have going on your blog, you may also already have a meta description. You don't want to get things confused, so just use the same one. In this case, I didn't have one, so I would just go ahead, write a meta description, type it in here, and I would type it in here as well. So that would show up on the Rich Snippet. That's it for the SEOPressor review and updated of all the modules and tutorial. Hopefully all the guest bloggers will be able to find value in this, as well as everyone else. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and here's what I'd like you to do. While you're over on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. That way you can keep up to date with all the blogging tutorials, social media, and anything that's going on with YouTube or Google and Google Chrome. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon. Once again, it's Ileane from Basic Blog Tips. Bye for now.